Hello, and welcome to this weLearn special. I'm Mark Ray. Today, we're going to highlight stories about technology in Vancouver Public Schools and how teachers and students are using it to teach and learn in new ways. A big reason the district is able to offer students so many choices is because the community is willing to support it. This past year, voters approved a replacement technology levy to make sure kids have access to the latest hardware and software they'll need to find success in college and career. We start with the story of two incredible students. They're more than just consumers of technology. They're producers. They've made their own app, which won them several accolades. Nick Vole has more.
Ojasvi Kamboj and Annika Epperly started with a shared value.
Annika and I are really passionate about animal welfare.
With that principle in mind, these students in the Skyview Science, Math, and Technology program began to develop an app.
We thought if we can help influence kids and teach them how to be better about taking care of animals, we can kind of translate that to when they grow up.
Their app is designed to help children care for goldfish.
Goldfish are usually the most common first pet, and a lot of kids think that, oh, it's just goldfish, we don't really have to take that much care of them, but there's still a lot that goes into creating a nurturing environment for them.
The app has everything a kid needs to keep their fish happy. They can set alarms to remind them of feedings and to clean the fish tank. They can diagnose basic health problems. They can even color a picture of their fish. Their app is an entrant into the Congressional App Challenge, a national contest that encourages computer science. They're also looking at ways to get their app available to the public on the Google Play Store. Annika and Ojasvi built their project on software that doesn't teach a coding language, but rather the logic behind coding.
This is our code for the home screen, and really all it does is when you click the button that says Symptom Selector, it takes you to the certain screen that corresponds with that.
Programming kind of, for me, combines the technical, math, problem-solving aspects of what I like, and then the more creative, you have to come up with your own way to solve something.
Using the example of making a sandwich, Ojasvi explains how precise you have to be when you're programming.
You have to think like a computer, and you have to be really specific about the sequence of events that should happen, because otherwise the computer will put 2 pieces of bread and then jam and peanut butter on top of that, and obviously that's not what you want.
Through planning and trial and error, they came up with a functional, helpful, and easy-to-use app.
I just really like the logic of it,
After Nick filed that story, Annika and Ojasvi won the regional title in the Congressional App Challenge. They were given their award by our local representative, Jamie Herrera Butler, and both are off to college this fall. And that's not the end of the story. They were among 8 Skyview students who won a regional contest. These students, plus 3 others, were selected for the 2019 Aspirations in Computing honor. The nonprofit National Center for Women and Information Technology handed out the awards. All the students were selected for their skills, leadership ability, and plans to pursue technology careers. They're all in Skyview's Science, Math, and Technology program. More than a year ago, Vancouver iTech Preparatory partnered with the Fort Vancouver National Historic Site. Their goal was to catalog artifacts from the fort for future generations to study. And as Nick Vole shows us, it's really grown from there.
It's an exciting day in John Zingali's classroom at Vancouver iTech Preparatory. Students are anticipating the opening of this box. Inside, the results of over a year's worth of work. Last year, in a partnership with the Fort Vancouver National Historic Site, students got their hands on some historic trash.
Fort Vancouver, in the olden days, they just throw their garbage outside the walls, and then Fort Vancouver just dug this up, and so.
A lot of the things that they had, I would never see today.
Next, they made 3D scans of the artifacts.
We had it down on this table, on this kind of mat thing, and then we used a special program with an iPad.
It was painstaking work, requiring patience and a steady hand.
So it took, a few tries, but, it eventually came out just right.
The iPad app mapped out virtual reality replicas, which went on display in an online museum.
It's weird to think that this has become something so much greater. This has been seen in over 20 countries.
One group who saw it was the nonprofit Washington, D.C.-based YouthQuest Foundation. They used iTech scans with their 3D printer to make replicas of the original artifacts. The teams shipped their replicas to Vancouver, and finally, iTech students got a look.
It's really interesting, the whole process that I went through, and now it's back here, but it's not the real thing. It's really cool.
Replicas like these can allow visually impaired people to feel artifacts they can't see. The online museum allows anyone, anywhere, to get a glimpse of our region's history.
Technology just opens up so many new opportunities that historians 10 or 20 years ago would never have even been able to dream of.
And this project opened up opportunities for students.
It really communicates to the kids like how they really can change the world with just the click of a button and the spin of a camera.
If you want to take the virtual museum tour, it's easy to find on Google. The web address is a little long, so instead just type Fort Vancouver Virtual Reality into the search bar, and it's the first option that pops up. Code is all around us. Whatever device you're watching this show on right now is using code to bring it to you, and there are a million other examples. In special education classes, coding is used not only to teach kids about technology, but also logic, organization, and other important life skills. Once again, here's Nick Voll.
Students in Kim Brown's special education classroom at Philida Elementary are very focused. They're logged into code.org, a program that lets beginners learn how to do computer coding. Right now, they're figuring out how to program robots.
They kind of like when they get out of control and they go crazy, and then they have to figure out how to get them back.
It's a bit of a puzzle.
There's so much problem solving that is so critical to their life, which is why we do it. And a lot of self-taught learning, which is another thing that these kids are going to use a lot in their life.
Many students in Ms. Brown's class are working on controlling their emotions.
So the kids who get frustrated when the robot won't move, or frustrated because they can't solve the coding problem, they start to use those regulation tools instead of having big reactions that are not really appropriate for social settings.
Megan Williams is an instructional technology facilitator for the district. Her job is to help teachers incorporate technology into lessons. She brought the program to Philida and 7 other buildings after getting a grant from the state superintendent's office and the Foundation for Vancouver Public Schools.
The idea behind it is to give access to computer science to less represented populations of students in STEM.
STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. This software is drag and drop, so kids can learn the logic of coding without having to memorize programming languages. It also lets them learn from their mistakes.
So it says, okay, something's not quite right. So now I can reattach everything and I can reset it and push run and see what happens.
A former special ed teacher herself, Megan views this program as a way to boost students' self-esteem and perseverance.
Accessing a puzzle, getting a robot to do what you want it to do, all of those little wins along the way, boost them throughout the rest of the day.
Ms. Brown has also seen the effects of all those little wins.
They've also brought it into their gen ed classes, which is really cool, to teach other kids how to use it. So outside of school, the confidence, the problem solving skills, just the technology piece has been really powerful for them.
This initial grant has now ended, but thanks to the Foundation for Vancouver Public Schools, the materials for this program will continue for another year. Starting this coming school year, high schoolers are going to be using a different technology. It's a big shift, but one that the district believes will be an improvement for students. Instead of iPads, they'll be using Chromebooks. For the last several years, students have been using iPads to do creative and innovative work, as well as read materials and complete and turn in schoolwork. The Chromebook models that the district leaders are considering retain the iPad's touchscreen capabilities, but can also use a keyboard and mouse, something that teachers and students have been asking for. Chromebooks also come with the full suite of Google apps.
I think one of the things we really want them to do is be able to be effective collaborators. And with Chrome being a Google product, inherently they're very good at collaboration. So collaboration on a Google Doc, collaboration within a folder or a project, it makes it very, very powerful for students to operate that way.
The district views technology as a tool to improve student learning, and with the passage of the recent technology levy to pay for it all, much of the community feels that way too.
It's almost like a baseline or a given that they'll be using these tools as they grow up and become this profession or go after this college, but really it's providing them those tools and those experiences to prepare them. And I can't thank the community enough for doing that. And continuing to do that, and it's not without its own challenges and barriers, but our community has been very wise. The district has done a really good job with their investments in that.
The Chromebooks will cost about the same as iPads. Some high school programs, such as special education, will continue to use the iPads because of their unique curriculum. The Skyview High School robotics team, otherwise known as the Stormbots, found success this year at the World Championships, thanks to teamwork both within their group and with other teams from around the world. The Stormbots have 55 members, and as Amanda Richter found out, they've learned a thing or two about working together.
Long after the school day is done, the Skyview Stormbots robotics team is still in the 600 wing. They've just returned from the first Robotics World Championships in Houston.
It's definitely nerve-wracking there because there's so many competitive robots, so many amazing robots from all over the world.
The Stormbots teamed with 3 other squads to finish second in their group. Now they're already strategizing and planning for the next competition. The team is broken up into different groups. One group codes the robot, another builds it, and so on.
It's almost like a small business that has 7 different separate departments that have department heads, in this case mentors, that teach the kids how to do that.
Those mentors include Paul Strebig, an engineer at USNR.
Literally the first practice I was here, I was hooked.
He sees potential future engineers.
They're getting real life hands-on experience. They're not only are they actually designing, but they're designing, they're building, they're testing. More importantly, they're breaking and then figuring out how to get it better and do it over again multiple times.
But not everyone comes from a science or math background, like advisor Luke Glassett.
I'm a history teacher, and so it wasn't something that was natural for me, yet I really enjoy it. And so I like to bring other kids into it as well. I like to have kids that are STEM students and kids that aren't coming here and enjoying it.
We have a marketing team that focuses on volunteer work and designs our t-shirts, so they get a lot of experience that isn't just related to engineering.
All of these different personalities, perspectives, and skill sets require students to work not only with machines, but with one another.
I want to make sure everyone's doing something at once, that we don't have people sitting around, that everyone's having fun.
It's a really positive environment. The whole theme of FIRST is how to interact with people in both a competitive and a positive way.
For students like Kristen, the Stormbots team was an introduction to engineering, a gateway to friendship, and a path to college.
It's helped me pretty much every aspect of my life, with my confidence, my future.
The team says that this year's robot was likely their most complicated ever, and they hope to build on its success next year. They go to competitions all year, so they'll have lots of opportunities. Science and robotics aren't just for high schoolers. At Sarah J. Anderson, the whole family got to take part in STEAM Night. That's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We stopped in as the evening was getting started. Families streamed in to see presentations from OMSI, the Mount St. Helens Institute, the Northwest Noggin, and other local science-based organizations. But the highlight for many was the school's own robotics team in action.
I know that we're all very excited to show our robots because we've been working really hard. We had to work to take our iPads home to work on them many hours each day, and it's been really fun.
Many of these students will end up at Skyview someday, where they may join the Stormbots. The event had lots of hands-on activities to get kids excited about science and art and explore how the two can interact in the real world. This past year, some classrooms began doing book reports in a whole new way. Instead of writing it down on paper, students at Salmon Creek and elsewhere made podcasts. As Amanda Richter reports, it challenges them not only to receive information, but to also communicate it with others.
Hello and welcome back to ELA News. We're your hosts, Peyton and Maya.
It's a busy afternoon in Ms. Clokey's classroom at Salmon Creek Elementary. Students are recording podcasts about the latest book they've read, Johnny Tremaine.
In social studies, we were doing about the war, and in Johnny Tremaine, it was about the war too.
Johnny Tremaine was really descriptive and a really great novel. I really liked it. It is an amazing novel, and it gets very sad at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Students are using their iPads instead of writing traditional book reports.
We wanted to take it kind of to the next level, so we decided to use our iPads and we decided to try our hand at podcasting.
Students teamed up and each group had to produce 3 episodes. That meant reading the book, writing scripts, and recording on their iPads.
Welcome to Tall Over Secret Podcast.
Producing in groups forced students to work together.
Are we going to do this music or this music, or are we going to write this first or that first? What makes more sense, And it was a lot of communication and a lot of cooperation.
Students ended up learning from each other and making friends.
I feel like if you're doing it with somebody else, you get to hear more than just one side. So if you do mess up, well, your partner could tell you, oh, I don't think this is right, I think this would be better.
It's actually more interactive than just doing a book report by yourself, because you're doing it with a group and you're actually having a lot of fun.
For students and their teacher, this was something new.
It was very scary.
It was not very easy for me because I obviously was not born into this technological generation. So I actually podcasted as well, so I could sort of become comfortable with the process.
Teams posted their episodes on a blog page, which could be accessed by other students across the district.
It was really fun using the technology, and we got to read a really cool book that I loved.
Thank you for listening to our podcast series. If you decide to read the book, have fun. We really enjoyed doing this.
Ms. Clokey is quick to point out that she didn't do this alone. She credits Erica Anderson, her building's technology facilitator, and Tori Phelan, a teacher at Sacagawea Elementary, for helping her with this project. The school district's use of educational technology has earned it national recognition. The Consortium for School Networking selected VPS for its Community Leadership Award for Digital Equity. The award honors the district's commitment to making sure every student has a chance to learn with technology, regardless of income. One-to-one devices, school bus Wi-Fi, and other innovations put VPS on the list. It's the third district to receive this honor and the first from Washington State. Skyview's SMT, or Science, Math, and Technology program, works to give students hands-on experiences, and they held one of the biggest events of the year right before Thanksgiving. Nick Vole was there for all the action.
Once a year, the SMT department takes over the hallways at Skyview with a crazy challenge for students.
Today's all about tech, all about problem solving.
Students are broken up into teams, and everything they do is worth points.
It's really important. We all want to win.
Alexander is working on his team's trebuchet, a type of catapult. They need to launch erasers and rubber animals into a castle. It's all about teamwork.
I talked with other group members too, and everyone has a different design, but there's some key features that I like from other people's designs that I incorporated in my own, and there's other thoughts I had.
Other group members are in the library, following clues to find out who has the plague. Art is incorporated into the day as students design a team crest and memorize Chaucer and Shakespeare lines to recite for points. But the big challenge is the joust. Students build rigs that coast down ramps, trying to damage the other team's shield. Successful teams plan well and are able to make changes on the fly.
We use every time wisely. We had to reassemble this a couple times, try some different prototypes, so it was a lot of work. But
we've learned how to innovate under pressure and how to just work together as a team.
Everyone we talk to keeps coming back to teamwork, including the teachers. They're modeling for students what it means to pull together to get things done.
The staff here starts planning this in August. We have about 8 staff running it today. We had another 4 or 5 people helping support this, and admin and the whole school comes together to make sure this whole process works.
And while only one team gets the glory, the whole department claims Tech Day as a victory.
It sort of brings all of us SMT students together.
It's a really big deal. Everyone looks forward to it every single year. It's the entire school knows that we're doing it. They can see, oh, those kids are in SMT, and it's like a family, Just, we all embrace it. We all really love this day, and it's always something we can always remember.
Therefore, winner.
Thanks, Nick. That was Mr. Schmidt's first year coordinating Tech Day, and he did a great job. These are just a few of the wonderful ways that Vancouver Public Schools has integrated technology into its everyday work. For more stories, check out the district's YouTube page. That's youtube.com/VanSDTV. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark Ray.